Hello boys and girls, and welcome to the Vaadin studios in Finland. I'm Ville.
I'm Johannes.
And today we have a good quality session talking about quality assurance, right? In Vaadin Testbench. So we're going to show Vaadin Testbench in action. Johannes has some good stuff prepared for you guys, and we're going to see all about it. But first, I guess the obvious things we should quickly go through is, what is it, why we should use it, and at the end we'll see how. Johannes, what is it?
Vaadin Testbench is a tool for automated UI testing. So you will test your Vaadin applications with it. And the why is quite obvious. You want to increase your quality of software by killing those bugs that happen in the production when the customer clicks the save button or something and gets the exception. So you want to eliminate those. And of course for that you have integration testing possibilities. You could write your integration test, forget your UI part, and write in a kind of isolation, in kind of in a sense vacuum. Right. But what you actually want to do is you want to take the UI into the play. So you run end-to-end testing by actually clicking the UI components, visit the database, get the actual data, and verify if the application works. But that's expensive. It's time consuming, and you probably won't do that day-to-day basis. But with Vaadin Testbench you can actually emulate user clicking the UI components. So it's not simulating anything, it's not running an isolated application, it's actually running your actual application in a browser environment and clicking the UI components.
Okay, so did I get it correctly? So you're saying that the Vaadin Testbench, kind of the sweet spot for using Vaadin Testbench, is actually emulating the end user in the real environment.
Yes.
The use cases that you need to support.
So kind of acceptance testing, smoke testing your release. You should probably do it day to day. Every time you release something, you want to ensure that your UI views are working actually.
Okay, all right. So
that's a kind of...
Okay, so that's, if someone would ask us, okay, what's the main reason why to use Testbench? So this would be kind of the main reason why you should actually be using it.
Well, the other reason why it's pretty easy to use. So most of developers are now accepting the fact that they are writing unit tests. They have to test automatically their software components. This takes the same paradigm. So you write just Java code, unit tests, but they actually test the whole application.
Okay, all right. Okay, I think sounds already interesting, so maybe we should jump right into the how part. So you got some kind of a setup that you want to show us?
Yeah, I'm going to show a couple of things here. So we start from a simple case, so I'm going to run just a simple test locally.
Okay.
And then I'm going to expand it to a bit more complex case, but still run it in locally here.
Okay.
But I'm going to also demonstrate a bit more real-life example. So probably you have some kind of integration server running, and you will have your artifacts there built by, for example, Jenkins in this case.
Okay.
So I'm going to demonstrate how this would fit into your workflow also. You would be sure that your artifact is actually the war file, whatever you're building, is actually passing all the tests.
Okay.
And ready to be shipped.
All right.
So,
all right.
But let's start with the simple case. So, as I said, Vaadin Testbench is a tool, but what does it actually mean as in your development environment? So I have here a Maven project in Eclipse. It's a Vaadin project. Let's start with this simple project here first. The application itself, it has two buttons.
Beautiful.
So it tells you what you click. You click A, you click B.
Right.
So two buttons.
Okay.
Pretty simple. So I think you can follow with this. So I have my first test case here, and it needs a bit ceremony here. So it's set up. You set a driver. And the driver is actually the component that is controlling the browser. So as I said, you're running the actual application here.
Okay.
And not some kind of emulated version or simulated version.
Yeah. Could you actually maximize the windows so I think the audience could see it a bit better, right? Awesome.
Okay. So as you can see, there's a JUnit import here, hinting that it's an actual JUnit test.
Right.
So that's the test runner here, and it is a test case that extends Testbench test case here. A bit of ceremony to get the driver working and so on. But here's the interesting part. So I have a test for one click. So when I click button A, what I want to verify is that when I click it, I get the notification you clicked A.
Okay.
So 3 lines of code here. First, I'll select the button element, and as you can see, this is not Vaadin component here.
Right.
So this is the Testbench thing. So this is the kind of entry point where I get a hold of the button wherever it lives in the browser.
Oh, okay.
So this kind of element here. I will tell it it has to have a caption A, as I showed here. It has a caption A. When I click it, I want to receive that you clicked A.
Okay.
So I'll select the button here, click it, a notification element. First of those, we have only one there.
Yeah.
And then I make a simple JUnit assertion. So equals, you clicked A from the notification caption.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty simple. So let's run this test case.
Okay.
I'll run it as a JUnit test. Whoa.
Okay, the browser opens.
You clicked A. I got green.
All right, awesome. So we saw a flash of your system browser actually starting up, and someone clicked the button.
Someone clicked.
Yeah.
It was a test bench clicking.
So that's the driver thing.
That's the Firefox driver, yes.
Right.
So let's see. I sneakily changed the selection for caption B.
Okay. Okay, browser opens again. We can see it actually executing. All right.
It clicked B.
Okay.
But I was expecting his message you clicked A, but it didn't. So
yeah, right.
You can see it actually tested the real application.
Okay. Okay, pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm following you.
Good. As you should. This was just a simple case.
Yeah,
so.
even I'm still on board. Good.
Okay, so we can go back a little bit for the ceremony here.
Yeah.
So these are JUnit annotations before I set the driver. There are other drivers. Right. Firefox driver works out of the box. With Chrome driver, IE driver, you need to install binaries to your environment. So that's why I'm using Firefox driver here.
Okay.
Comes with Testbench. And from the driver, I want to get the address of the application.
Right.
So I had my application running there, as you see. So I clicked.
Okay. So did I get it correct? So the application is up and running somewhere already within the whatever Tomcat or Wildfly, whatever it's using.
Yes. In this case, it has an embedded Jetty here. So it was actually running before.
All right. All right.
It would already fail here, kind of. Because the first selection it tries to do, it doesn't find anything. The application is not running if I don't start it.
Of course, yeah.
But this is just a simple case.
Okay.
I will later demonstrate how you can actually boot everything up yourself. You don't have to have anything running.
Yeah.
Okay, then the after condition here, just quit the driver. What it means is it closes the browser, so you don't get every test run. You don't get those browsers living there.
Okay.
Simple case.
All right.
Yeah. There's of course possibility to. I used here Caption. Caption as the kind of element selector here. There are other. You could use ID. You could use CSS class if you know your component has a CSS class. You use by that.
Okay.
And you can even go really down to the metal using XPath. So as you know, Vaadin component is actually multiple HTML elements in your browser. You could select some of those.
Right. Okay.
But actually, it's not recommended.
Yeah.
And reason was for that is if we want to make the tests maintainable, we don't want to put too much effort into having the test that would assume something from the HTML elements from Vaadin, for example.
Okay, right, okay.
Let's say the Vaadin version changes. Let's say you want something else. It has still an action you want to click. You receive some kind of notification, but you don't know what the component is. That's not the kind of test you actually want to have in most cases, if we're talking about integration tests, acceptance tests. So the user doesn't, you could think it like this, the user doesn't care what kind of element you clicked. There's some action he or she wants to do and then a notification.
Okay.
So having maintainable tests, you want to use it generic as possible. So already here the button caption is kind of there and there. What if we need to change the caption, for example?
Okay.
Then we would need to have to update the test. So I have here another case which is much more robust in a sense.
All right. So this is just a hello world type of thing.
Yeah, this is hello world.
But the next one is kind of in more real world type.
More
of case,
real world. I would say, anyways, this is kind of a hello world, but as the Firefox driver is actually being like a user there, you could select a locale so that the caption, even if you have it localized, the captions would still be the same. So it's not totally
all right.
Totally out of the blue. Okay, so I have another application here.
Okay.
Pretty simple still.
Right.
Let's say this would be much more complex. I don't know how to start the selector here. What kind of code I would use?
Okay.
There's an option I could use this debug mode in Vaadin. There's this Testbench kind of tab here.
Okay.
And there's this crosshair button or whatever component.
Yeah.
As you can see, it highlights different parts. Ooh, nice pink color.
Yes, awesome.
I think it's selected because no one would actually use that color, so it doesn't conflict with.
Yeah, it's pretty safe.
Yeah, pretty safe color. Okay, I clicked with that selector, so I get a selector here.
Okay,
so it actually, as you can see, it actually suggests me to use the caption here. It tries to take the simplest one possible.
Okay.
So if at some point I'm not sure how the Java code would work, well, how's the Testbench API working, I could use this tool here.
Okay. All right. I didn't know that.
But I'm an expert, so I will close this.
Okay.
And let's go here. So the application wants an email address, and it has some kind of, this simulates as a kind of satisfaction.
Okay.
Overall satisfaction with your most recent stay.
Right.
Well, this webinar is very good.
Of course it is, yeah.
I'm very satisfied. Thank you. So that's the application.
Okay, good.
So it's multiple parts. The URI fragment here changes, so there's a couple of views already here. And with more robust tests, what I want to do is, with every test case, I don't want to do the ceremony of navigating into the same view here and repeating, so keeping it simple, or dry principle here.
Yeah.
So what you use is this concept of page objects.
Okay.
So what it is, it's actually extending test from a Testbench test case. It encapsulates the hierarchy of this page. The components exposes kind of the actions, what I'm going to do in this screen.
Okay.
In this case, I would like to click here, would be one. The email, entering an email address here would be the other option. So I'll show you. Step one would be the email address here. So what I do here is this is custom code by me.
Okay.
But
so
it brings the Testbench test case, so it has a lot of already. I can use the selector here.
Okay.
The dollar sign.
Okay. So this is not Testbench stuff as it is the page object.
No.
It's a best practice done by you for this example.
It's just a Bojo.
Okay.
I could use factory method here, which would fill all those, but I lose some of the typing, so I want to maintain. I have to control here.
Okay.
So I do it like this. I have the action enter email, click submit button. I have this navigate to the method, so I encapsulate also the navigation. What's the URL?
Right. Okay.
I have the other page object here, which is the question page. There's the option group. It has also a navigate to. But it knows that I navigate through the step 1 here.
Okay.
So it provides that navigation already.
Okay.
So if I'm doing test case against the question view, I don't have to know how to navigate the question view in the test case.
Okay.
So let's go to the test case here. I have only one test here. It selects one options and clicks submit.
Okay.
It wants to see the thank you message displayed.
Right.
And pretty important. Your customer or your customer's user will be really angry. So I take the question, I'll close this here. So I take the page object here, navigate, and then I have this select option and submit method here.
Okay.
Simple assertion. I expect the get message here. What is this get message? Well, it's encapsulated. You don't actually, as a test writer, want to know. But if you're the one who wrote this utility class here, so on this you could base a lot of test cases,
right?
Multiple ones, and if the contents of the page change, the captions or selectors or whatever change, you change only this page object, and you don't have to change all those individual tests. So this makes it more robust. Okay,
so the page object class kind of acts as an adapter between the actual structure of the page when it comes to elements and whatever, and the actual logical use case test itself.
Yeah.
Right.
So in a very simple, well, this is still simple, but in a very simple test case, you don't want to do this.
Yeah.
With the actual real-world application, you usually have something more complex. So that would be there. What you see here is also that I'm not using the caption selector here, so I'm using ID. That's a bit more robust. Even if I change the element type, well, not the element type here, but if I would change the contents of the text or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
The test doesn't break, which is important. You want to be writing actual software, shippable software instead of a test case.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's run this too, just to see that I didn't make any mistakes. JUnit runner, it should spin the Firefox. It spins, goes there, and thank you, and green. Pretty fast.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, nice.
Let me now close this browser here. I mean the embedded Jetty. Let's move into a more complex, if I may.
Yeah, sure. So what's the next thing?
Okay, so now I have a kind of full stack application.
Okay.
We are still running locally here.
Right. All right.
You were eager to change the slide.
No, I'm just, we can actually show the logical picture before we go to the next stage.
True. But anyways, we have a full stack application here. This is actually using Spring Boot. It uses real Hibernate stuff, entities, all the nice sweet stuff that you would be actually using in an enterprise application.
Okay.
So let's spin this up. As it's a Spring Boot application, it's packaged as jar, so I run it as a Java application. It has a main class. It's booting up, and it's pretty fast. It's kind of impressive compared to like Wildfly stuff.
Yeah. Okay. This is starting to look like an application now.
Yeah. Where it's still oversimplified application, but it's kind of CRM application. So I have one customer here. I can add new ones, edit existing ones, like change something. It gets updated, hopefully. It did, by the way.
Yeah, awesome. It works.
Yeah, it works. So we want to write test case for that.
Right. So what's a typical use case what's the use case you wanna test here?
Well, how about I want to add a new customer. If I add the new customer, I want to see it in the list.
Right. Okay.
That would be the kind of, I'm the user.
Yeah. So that's kind of pretty good full stack test.
And I can tell you, I've been before in a situation where we had an integration testing. It didn't use Testbench or any other stuff that would actually click the user. Yeah. It's like the project manager asks, if it's ready, is the feature ready? Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Test pass.
Test all green. Okay.
Did you test it? No. The customer has an email next day like, I clicked the save button, it throws an exception.
Right.
Oh, right. Yeah, we didn't test the UI.
Okay.
So that's what we're going to do here.
All right.
I'm using here a naming convention, customer IT case. IT for integration test.
Okay.
The reason for that is I'm using, let's see how the POM file here displays pretty horribly probably, but let's see if I want to search it here, probably not. Oh, I found it. So it has this Maven Failsafe plugin.
Okay. So what is this?
Well, as you might know, Maven Surefire is the one that runs the unit tests, but Failsafe is a much more capable and kind of the appropriate way to run integration tests. First of all, you don't want to run integration tests all the time. When you start building your test suite, there's going to be like hundreds of tests, probably. They might take time because they're actually testing the whole application.
Right.
So in your local environment, when you run the unit tests, you don't want to every time wait for the integration tests. So that's why you probably want a different goal for that. So the phase here is running integration tests, and the goal is like verify. So first integration tests are run, and in the end verify did they pass or not.
Okay.
So this is a extra configuration for your POM file.
Okay.
By the way, I'm going to put this project in GitHub, or it's already there, but I'm going to provide the links later.
Okay, awesome.
Probably in the video description.
Good.
Could be the right place for that, so you can take a look.
Let's make sure that it's provided somewhere.
Yeah. Let's make sure after this. So you don't have to do this by hand. You could take this as a kind of example.
Sounds good. Thank you, Johannes.
And let's see the test case here. It has some extra stuff now because it's running the Spring Boot.
Okay.
First of all, it takes the Spring dependencies, so I want to use the Spring JUnit 4 class runner instead of the regular JUnit class runner test runner.
Okay.
I have a couple of interesting annotations here. So Spring application configuration configures the whole application, spins it up. As in the previous example, I need to run first the application, then run the tests. Here, I don't have to.
Okay.
And the other thing, I have here web integration test annotation.
Okay.
This is nice because with this setting, it does a random port. So even if I'm running multiple tests or my integration server, let's say Jenkins in the server is running multiple test cases and deploying stuff there, the random port here ensures that there's no clash in the port.
Nice.
That would fail, of course, the test because it cannot,
right. It's already
it cannot deploy there.
Okay.
And then I have this extra rule here. So Testbench is capable of taking screenshots.
Yeah.
And we are doing this one rule that it takes if it fails. So that would be the assertion tells you, of course, why the test fails in the assert part.
Yeah.
But if there's some other error, there might be extra information, for example, from the screenshot.
Nice.
Or in the assertion too. So
okay, sounds good.
I'm using page objects here, ID selectors. We don't have to go through this test case, but it's the scenario I told before. So I first search an email, assert that there's it's empty. There's not the kind of customer first.
Yeah, okay.
That would be kind of the real use case. I'm entering this. Does this customer already be in the database? Okay. Then add new customer, fill the details, search, and now I'm expecting something to be found.
Okay. So you first search. It shouldn't find it.
No.
Then you add it.
Yes.
Then you search it again, and it should be there. So that's the test case structure. All right.
Yeah.
Good.
And now I could actually run it from. I can run it from the JUnit test runner, but I run it here with I forgot the plugin.
Maven.
Whatever. Maven. Failsafe.
Failsafe. Yeah.
Yes. Failsafe. Could have needed failsafe with that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Builds the project.
All right.
Does some stuff with Spring Boot.
Yeah. You need to translate the flow of text to the audience now. I think no one really sees what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay, but now we can see. Okay, the
Random port, 56,000 something. That's a customer. Searches it. And is satisfied because it's there.
Okay, it did it. Good.
Yeah. But this is still in local environment. So this would be the way to do if I develop the test.
Okay.
Later on, I'll move on with the development. I'll add more tests. And I want to run this to verify that it still works.
Right.
I implemented this 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sprints ago. So I want to ensure that it stays with every release.
Okay.
So how would I do that?
Okay.
So you could show the picture.
Okay, so we got some logical pictures of the whole thing. You know, what are
the big boxes?
Yeah, the big boxes. Yeah, what are the moving parts? So kind of the logical idea.
Yeah.
So this is what you just showed us. We got a local environment. So we got the app itself on the right hand side running in Tomcat or whatever, OneFly, JD.
Yeah, in this case it was JD.
But anyways, JUnit is kind of the logical thing that executes the test cases you've written.
Yeah.
And those test cases actually fire up the driver, the browser driver, the Firefox driver in this example. And that actually opens the actual browser application and controls that to use your application and perform the things. So that's the logical part. Okay, but the next thing, you do your thing. Of course, we're gonna have some kind of version control, Git or something. So the next thing is pretty much something like this, right? Let's see if we can see the updating. Okay. So from Git, CI servers. So I think that's how this is operated, but it's pretty much almost the same in a logical manner, right? So what are the differences? What's going on?
Okay, I would say the main difference here is that most CI servers don't have a screen attached.
Right, okay.
So the Firefox could be kind of useless there.
Yeah, okay. Might be.
Might be.
Yeah.
So what we have to do is implement it as a headless test.
Okay.
And for that, you can use Phantom.js. It's kind of industry standard for that. It uses WebKit, so it renders off-screen.
Okay.
And can verify the same things as the Firefox driver, for example.
Okay.
So you can run the whole test suite, but you don't have to have an actual browser in your CI server.
Right.
And that's pretty important and powerful. Also, it's more effective. So it can be like 15, whatever number I will throw you, like 20% faster. I don't remember what was the actual. But it's of course faster because it doesn't have to render it.
Okay, all right. So the only difference is actually, what driver instance you create.
The main difference in the test code here.
Yeah.
Of course, it's running in Jenkins, so the environment is different and stuff. That's kind of the ultimate truth. You develop your tests, which you can also run locally, of course, headless, but you test those tests, and the CI server will, from that point on, tell you is everything green, or in Jenkins' case, blue by default.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Okay, so switch there now.
Yeah, I could show you then. So I have my Jenkins installation here. I'm actually installing it locally, just to make sure that internet connection and stuff.
Yeah.
Anyways, and this is Windows environment, so it, whatever. It's not the realistic case running it here, but it's still the whole stack.
Right.
So Jenkins here, I have one build, integration tests. What you normally would like to do is probably have it so that it runs, for example, once a day, depending on how heavy operation it is.
Okay.
I've configured it to run every time I push something to the Git repository.
Okay, all right.
Just for demonstration purposes.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, so the test is now, it's the same test that I showed you. The test is now blue, but let's say that I later on add something. So customer needs a validator for the email field when I'm adding the new customer.
Yeah.
So it had already those required, it's required, and the customer status was required. What I want to do is validate the email. And what happened is that the developer, maybe he was a junior.
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe he used Stack Overflow without actually verifying.
Yeah.
He created this horrible email validator.
Right. Right.
Do you like the name?
Yeah, I hope I can find it.
I can show you why it's I can show you why it's horrible. It always says false.
Okay, that is pretty horrible.
Yeah.
All right, good.
It never validates correctly.
Right.
So what that happens is the developer here. It's Friday.
Friday, 5 p.m.
I'm stressed. I need to go home.
Yeah.
So git push origin master and run.
Okay, so commit and run has
commit and run just happened.
Okay.
So what happens in Jenkins is now that there's a server hook that now spins integration test run there.
Okay.
And what happens, it uses this, didn't show it, but I made this small test class here. What it does, it reads a system property, Phantom.js.
Okay, yeah.
So with that I can control, by default it uses Firefox driver. If I tell it differently to use this headless testing, it uses Phantom.js driver. I want to also set some dimensions there because it's off screen, it doesn't know.
Of course, right.
So if the UI, for example, doesn't handle squishing that well, there's some signs at least.
Right.
Okay, so with that, I've configured, of course, in the Jenkins build. So as a parameter, this Phantom.js. And now the tests are run. What happened? Did I actually commit my code? I did. Oh, I didn't have the enable auto refresh there.
Yeah, okay, but
I got scared for a while.
Yeah,
it's unstable.
Okay, so you got.
So why is it unstable? We can go and check this integration test job here. This shows the latest test result, and our test is failing.
Okay.
And I told you about the screen capturing thing on fail. So let's go to the project and workspace, error screenshots, and here's an actual PNG file. Okay. It didn't accept this completely valid email address here. So that's the problem. Okay. And this is how I would then go on
probably
and
get
fix the code.
Yeah, you probably get an idea. Okay, so that's the.
And what you also will get is the SMS from your project manager.
Most
As
likely.
You're already in the pub.
Yeah. Probably.
You broke the build.
Yeah.
Come back.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
US time zone is still like in the morning.
That's unfortunate. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the kind of full stack example.
Right.
Simple as that.
Okay. Good.
It requires just a little from the Jenkins side, as I said, configure it to run headless tests, because you want to have these Firefox driver most of the time when you're developing tests, of course, so you can see what the test actually does. Yeah. Then you can switch to headless also in your local environment when the test suite gets more stable. And then, of course, in the Jenkins, you run the headless test. Okay,
so but basically all the configuration things that you've done is kind of normal Jenkins plus / Maven configuration, right?
Maven configuration. Yeah. I've talked about a lot of Maven here, Testbench, of course, JUnit Runner, Testbench dependency jars. You can run it with ant build if you're still into that for some reason. Yeah. Or as I showed with the test runner in the IDE. So it's not Maven dependent. Okay. I just love Maven because the dependency management is that much easier. Okay. All right. Yes. Okay. So what's next? So this is kind of the. Okay, so this is the setup. What we just seen, what you just showed us, and you're going to provide the links to the setup, so people can take them. GitHub, yeah. So what it has is kind of the basic setup for kind of the sweet spot
kind of the integration, the application, the full stack testing, and testing those use cases you need to support in real environment. From browser, kind of as the user would do it by themselves as well.
And also, kind of neat if you haven't tried the Spring Boot web integration test stuff. So take a look at that.
Okay, at least it looks really convenient.
Convenient, yes.
Looks convenient. What else? I think maybe we could actually cover a few things that when you get to this point, what next? How deep the rabbit hole actually goes with Testbench. A few words about that, but that's homework for the audience. If we switch to the logical picture, my screen here. So here, kind of logical things. The screenshots were mentioned. In this case.
And those were in error case, but you can also do a bit more powerful with screenshots. So you can do a pixel by pixel verification of your UI. So when that would be suitable, I know the framework guys are using it because they are developing components. But if you have a heavily themed application, for example, you're iterating your theme constantly. It would be nice that the notifications don't go somewhere hidden or whatever. So you could do the pixel by pixel screenshot comparison, and it's pretty neat. We didn't have time to show it here, but it displays the different parts. What's the difference between the actual reference image and the actual result of the test?
Okay, so when you see the failure, you can see the side-by-side, more or less side-by-side comparisons.
And you can mask areas, of course. So if you're interested just from one part of the screen, you can mask others out, and that part is the interesting one that could fail the test.
Right, okay. Oh, but anyways, for application development or system development, mostly used for theming.
Yeah, I would say that.
Kind of visual verification.
Have a couple of those to verify that the theme works.
Right.
Most of the time we want to do this acceptance testing, integration testing, the kind of user clicking application, and have these logical assertions instead of these pixel ones.
Right. And if you're doing some kind of framework of your own with Vaadin, I guess the kind of internal framework, the way that our guys use Testbench might be also a good thing, because the Vaadin components are tested with the screenshot testing.
And there are a lot of those.
Yes, thousands. I don't know what's the number even at this point, but it's thousands. Okay, but the next things after this screenshot thing, you're gonna have a lot of test cases in the future. There's a lot of test cases. You want to support multiple browsers, things like that. So there's some support for that as well. A few words on those.
Yeah, so we were running Headless Test here, and we were running one Firefox driver, but you could control this test hub.
Right.
So it has multiple nodes.
Okay.
Those nodes can run parallel, so it speeds up a bit the test runs.
Yeah.
And those nodes can run different browsers.
Right.
So you could have a setup for the IE. You could have a setup for some other IE, the older one, the one that always breaks. So you can have that. So you can make this testing grid, and basically it's just another driver that then controls it.
And also some kind of a controller to, run the whole thing, execute the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay, but you could basically, if you go that far, you can actually automate all the combinations you need to support, right? The operating system plus browser.
Yes.
And have them running the same way.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. But that's a bit advanced stuff. So that's for the homework, the next steps. But this is kind of the thing where to start.
Yeah.
I think we could, actually sum up this whole thing with the number one question we always hear.
Yes.
When talking about Testbench, what's the difference to Selenium?
Yeah, I forgot to mention, as Testbench is written on top of Selenium. So yes, that's the logical question. Why not Selenium? I would say not a problem with Selenium, but Selenium is it's not for Vaadin applications specifically.
Right.
It means it needs some customization
Okay.
to run with Vaadin applications. There's actually a pretty nice blog post. I'm going to put that link too. So our own guy Dimitri here wrote really good from developer standpoint.
Okay.
He's not the salesman,
yeah.
so he actually had a really valid points. Okay. Why would you choose Testbench instead of Selenium?
Right.
The bottom line of that blog post is that it's out of the box, just works.
Right.
Selenium doesn't, so you need to write some custom code, and you probably want to use that time to actually write the test code instead of code that makes the test code work. So
yeah, okay.
That's the idea.
Right. So everyone loves maintaining tests, right?
if you're a thinker, if you're a thinker, you can like take the open source components and configure them yourself. So why not? But Testbench, I would say, for serious stuff, to get up to speed immediately instead of next week.
Okay.
So that's the bottom line.
Okay. All right. But we're gonna put out the links to the video summary, link to the blog post. There's a good details.
Yes.
I remember the blog post. I've seen that there was also some mention that the overall amount of lines that you have to write for the test cases, it's actually a bit shorter because we have the element thing that we saw.
You have Testbench
kind of convenience methods.
Convenience
for Vaadin especially and such things.
Yeah.
All right, but I guess that covers it. You got still something in your mind? Or are we done?
I think we're done here. The main artifact you should take from this is take my example project.
Right.
And there are evaluation licenses for Testbench available, so you could try this yourself.
Right. Okay. So Testbench it's a 30 days evaluation license that you can get. Otherwise, you get two options: either take the Pro Tools subscription, where you get all the Pro Tools. This one is included there. Yeah. Or you can take the standalone license for life as well. Those are the options. So this is one of the commercial tooling that we do, but a lot of power. You can really ensure that the quality is top notch when you go to the customer and don't see the we did the integration test, but we couldn't do it in a real environment. But this way you actually could, so it's a valuable thing. Okay, I'm happy. Thank you, Johannes. Awesome job.
Thank you, Ville.
And well, now it's your turn, so this is your homework. Go and have fun. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.